So first, let me thank you guys for coming all the way out here to our remote hotel to see Tabula Rasa. I think we're the only game company in this particular location.
Yeah, I think so.
And I'm Richard Garriott, the executive producer of Tabula Rasa. With me today is Andy Brunke, the associate producer. And before we jump in to show you the game, let me just give you a little bit about the backstory. Tabula Rasa is a near-future science fiction game that begins just a few days from today, where tragically I'm going to tell you that the evil alien horde known as the Bane are going to invade the Earth, wipe out the majority of humanity, but we are going to survive as well as all the other subscribers to Tabula Rasa. So if you want to survive that, you come and join us. There's three key elements we're going to try to demonstrate to you today. That's our fast-paced tactical combat, our dynamic battlefields that have a that change the dynamic gameplay over time, and then finally the way we deal with story-based activity, where in most MMOs where our story is quite minimal, Tabula Rasa is full of ethical parables and big climactic events that we think that make Tabula Rasa really quite a unique MMO. We're going to start in a part of the game on the first world called Forius. And on Forius, the local population is known as the Forians. These are these little green guys here that you see, our first allies in our war against the Bane. You'll also see mission givers that we can pick up some of our early missions from. But one of the first things you might notice about the screen on Tabula Rasa is how little UI there is compared to most other MMOs. Most MMOs have big shortcut bars full of icons that you might click on to make things occur. In Tabula Rasa, there's just a left mouse button assigned to a weapon, a right mouse button assigned to an ability. He can rotate which weapon or which ability is assigned to that mouse button. But otherwise, there's just a radar screen, a mission tracker, chat area, and a health bar to indicate his progress in the game. And when he presses the left mouse button, it immediately fires the weapon here towards the center of the screen. But you'll also notice that, though this is the physical center of the screen, every time he sweeps past an opponent, that little red targeting reticle sticks to whatever opponent you most recently swept past. And that's our preventing this from becoming an arcade game. It's not meant to be a dexterity test. It really is a role-playing game about my character attributes against yours. But we also take the 3D environment into play. So, for example, if you'll see these yellow indicators that were coming up across the screen here, this orange one now there, that describes how much damage he was taking from an attack coming from that direction. And so right now they're red, that's because he was fully exposed, but now that he's behind the sandbag wall, now these indicators are yellow, indicating that the person shooting at him has a dramatic disadvantage because he's standing behind cover. And so unlike most MMOs where you just stand in front of each other and hit each other until one of you's dead, in Tabula Rasa you're constantly having to maneuver to find the best angle to fight those opponents from. And they, of course, are doing the same thing to you. Yeah. We also, in Tabula Rasa, have a very unique kind of character class structure. So, for example, in most role-playing games, the first decision you make is what class you're going to be, fighter, cleric, wizard, whatever it might be. And it's a permanent decision that if you ever want to try another class, you start all the way over again at level 1. In Tabula Rasa, you slowly specialize from a recruit all the way up through, in this case, an engineer. And while you're going through the specialization as you get higher and higher level, you can load and save and clone your character, unlike other MMOs. And what that means is, for example, we were just playing as this engineer. He can hit the clone button. Now he can change the visual appearance of this clone if he so chooses. And then he can hit accept. And now we're done. We've made another clone of our character. And that means that anytime he wants to go back in and play, he never has to start over again at level 1. He can always explore forward all the way through our class tree by just loading up a save point that's before that branch in the tree. We're now going to take you to the other area of the game we're going to show you, which is one of our major battlefields. We're going to start in a human base here that's on one side of the planet called Ariki, the second planet we go to. This human base that we're in has a force field and the fortified walls, a waypoint. It has a weapon shop, some mission givers, a hospital for respawning. The Bane have obviously been here recently because since the last time we demoed, the force field on the back wall has been taken down. Although here's some more reinforcements coming in because of but most likely because the Bane had taken out so many people. And if this city ever fell, all those resources would be unavailable to the players. And constantly the game is really playing itself. And so with or without real player involvement, the geography of the world is gained and lost to the Bane. But we're going to head out on the battlefield to try to find the Bane base that's nearby and see what its status is, and the players may be over there right now trying to take it. You can also see some of our tougher creatures here. This one's called a predator. If that predator sees him and faces him, it's extremely tough, very difficult to hurt, and does a great deal of damage. However, he's going to sneak around from behind. He's pulling out a very specific weapon, electromagnetic pulse cannon. He just missed, however, so he'll try again. It's a slow refire weapon. And there he goes. He's almost got it killed. And in fact, with these shield drones around, there it goes. That just finally took that one out. Another one of our main creatures here, one of my favorites, known as a Stalker. The Stalker has, again, multiple forms of attack. It has a big frontal cannon. It has a giant plasma sphere that it charges up underneath it. These creatures here, known as shield drones, perfectly protect everything inside of them, so that somebody has to sacrifice themselves to go inside and attack it hand to hand before they can move on to other creatures they might want to choose to deal with. And so you can see that these battlefields and the kinds of creatures we bring onto them require very specific tactics to address. You just can't go out and start facing things head on and seeing who does the most damage over time like you do in most every other MMO. But that's probably really what I'll call the super brief tour of some of the principles. We also, what we're not going to demo, but to at least talk about here is the way we have stories that culminate in instance spaces, where we can then give you more of a private opportunity to have a very detailed story and then end in some very cataclysmic conclusion. So there's really kind of three key messages we're hoping people come away with. One is about our fast-paced and tactical combat that we think is quite unique to MMOs. Secondly, these dynamic battlefields that are constantly changing. And thirdly is these scripted storylines that ultimately culminate in very grand conclusions that make it feel more like a solo player game than a traditional MMO. And I think those three things not only will add up to what we hope is a very successful product here with Tabula Rasa, but also I believe will be iterated on in future MMOs. So I think we really are setting some of the standards for the next generation of online gaming.
What about PvP opportunities?
Though the game fundamentally is PvE, but there absolutely is PvP. You can already now, for example, you can go up and duel any other character you wish, or two different squads of players can choose to have a feud, or two different entire clans or guilds can choose to have a war go on between them. So PvP is a well-developed feature within the game, but fundamentally it's a PvE game.
Yeah. So it's like a single-player game, but in the MMO world.
That's exactly right.